We're going to talk about determining profitable max CPC bids based on some conversion information we have in our account. We now understand the concepts of tracking conversion values, we understand what conversions are, we understand the importance of knowing our profit margins, we also know how to determine our return on investment from our ads and our return on ad spend from our ads, ad groups, campaigns, keywords, any data point. We understand those calculations, but still, what are some of the formulas that will allow us to extract that information and use it to determine what the most we're willing to pay per click for any given keyword? Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about now. Once again, just to quickly review, for developing a profitable bidding strategy and finally determining what our max CPC bid could be, we do need to know that our conversion tracking is in place. We need to know that our conversions have value, and we also need to know our margins. Like we discussed, that not every business has a margin. Sometimes if you're selling digital goods, you have zero margin and you could just use your ROAS. You're not spending any money. If you have physical goods, then you want to really calculate your basic margins like shipping, cost of goods. If you have clients to service, the cost of software, cost of commissions, if you're an affiliate, things like that. So when we want to set, for the examples here, we're going to pretend or just assume that we're dealing with a 100% margin company, okay? We're not going to calculate margins because every business really has unique and different margins, and we know how to take our conversion value and extract the margins. Once again, remember, if our conversion value is $1,000 and we have 40% profit margins, you multiply 1,000 times 0.4 and that's your profit, okay? So we're going to assume that we're going to be setting our bids based on return on ad spend, and we're just going to assume that we're 100% at 100% margin. One of the more important, or one of the most important metrics to look at when determining what a max CPC bid should be is your revenue per click, okay? You need to know your revenue per click. It's a very important margin because it's going to help us determine what our max CPCs rather should be. Now, it's not a metric that we're going to use in every formula, but it's something which is important to get a sense of as you're looking at the keywords in your account, what your revenue per click. Because that's what we're doing, right? We're paying per click. And when we decide to add new keywords or we decide to bid more aggressively, we're basically deciding to buy more clicks. And we want to know, on average, what are we going to get back for each click? So revenue per click is a helpful metric. It basically tells us, based on our conversion value per conversion, what is our average revenue for every single click that we get. Now, in AdWords, there's a really simple way to see that data. You go to columns, modify columns or customize columns, and you add the value under the conversions tab. There's going to be a column called conversion value divided by click. And that is exactly what your revenue per click is. And I wrote over here conversion value or revenue because we're going to use those terms interchangeably, conversion value and revenue. So AdWords column conversion value divided by click. But this column, of course, only works if you're tracking values with your conversions. If your form submissions have values, if your phone calls have values, if your e-commerce sales have transaction-specific values. So you need to have your values being tracked. If you don't have conversion value tracking enabled, then just calculate it by hand. So I put up a quick example. Let's say for a given keyword or ad group, we have 3,500 clicks with $1,500 in revenue. So we do 3,500 divided by 1,500, and that comes to 2.3. So what that means is for every click I get, I'm averaging $2.30 of revenue for that click. So if I want to buy more clicks for the same keywords, then I know I'm going to be getting I'm generating an average of $2.30 of revenue per click. Now we don't know if that's profitable yet. We don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We just know that on average, each click is getting us $2.30 in revenue. Okay. Now, if we know that our average cost per click is higher than $2.30, then we know we're losing money. Okay. But that's just revenue per click. So, like we discussed, you need to have some basic information before you could determine a max CPC bid. You can't just determine it from square one. For example, we can't go into our Poppin account right now and determine what a profitable max CPC bid is because we don't have any data on conversions, we don't have data on conversion rate, we don't have data on average conversion value, things like that. Once again, I want to reiterate that all this could be done from any data point. It could be done from an ad group level, a keyword level, a campaign level, the account level, geographical location level, a placement level, if it's a display campaign. So this could all be done from any data point, but this is to give you the basic idea, the basic structure for you to go then and apply this information into your own accounts to make sure that you're bidding very profitably. We're going to go through two different strategies for determining max CPC bid, okay? The first strategy is based on knowing your conversion value, right? If you know your average conversion value, and we know our conversion rate, okay? Now you guys know what a conversion rate is, right? It's the percentage of people who click on your ad that convert. The percentage of clicks that led to a conversion. Those two pieces of information could give us this bidding strategies, okay? So for example, let's take our keyword. Let's say we're talking about our keyword is, once again, we'll use the same one from last time, buy office chairs online, okay? So let's say this is our keyword. And let's just come up with a average conversion value, and this is something which you will see in your account of your average conversion value under the conversion columns, the conversion value columns. Average conversion value of, let's see, $325, okay? Let's say our conversion value is $325 on average. Now, we also need to have a desired ROAS. We need to know, what do we want to accomplish? How much more than our conversion value do we want to be making? Do we want to be profiting? So our desired ROAS, okay, now this could be any number. It could be based on a margin, right? Let's say we had 50% margins. Just for example, we knew 50% margins, and we wanted our desired ROAS for now is to break even, or at least break even. So we would have a 200% ROI, okay? Now, based on your business goals and what you want to accomplish, your desired return on ad spend might be more or less than 200%. That's just an arbitrary number that I'm using as an example, but you're going to have to determine, what does your return on investment want to be? For every dollar that you spend, how much would you like back? What is your goal? How much do you want to bid to get that percentage back? So for example, in this particular scenario, we're going to say that we'd like to double our money. For every dollar we spent, we'd like to make $2 back in revenue. That's an example, okay? And we also need to know our conversion rate. Okay, so let's say our conversion rate was 5%, okay? And this is all information that's going to be right there in your AdWords account. So our average conversion value in this scenario is $325. Our desired return on ad spend is 200%, and our conversion rate is 5%. Okay? Now the way to calculate this is as such. You take your average conversion value, okay? Average conversion value, and you divide that by your desired ROAS, okay? You divide that by your desired ROAS, your desired returns, okay? You do that first, and then you multiply that number by your conversion rate, okay? That is how this calculation is done. So let's go and actually plug this in, and let me grab a new marker color for this. Let's grab a darker green, okay, because the lighting sometimes washes out the lighter colors. So we have our average conversion value, which is 325, okay? We divide that by 200, which is our desired ROAS, okay? And then we're going to multiply that by 5, which is our conversion rate. And if you do that calculation on your calculator, and I encourage that you do it, it comes out to $8.12, okay? That is your max CPC bid. This is what you should do for your max CPC bid for the keyword buy office chairs, okay? That's how it works. It's a really interesting formula, and it's really helpful. Knowing your conversion rate. Now notice that I don't need to know my click-through rate over here in this scenario. I don't. I just need to know my average conversion value, my conversion rate, that's the key, how many clicks are converting, the percentage of clicks that are converting, and what I want to be making, okay? Now, if any of these numbers if my average conversion value or my desired ROAS or my conversion rate changed, my max CPC bid would change. This is the most I am able to pay, or the most that I'm willing to pay for this set of data. The most I'm willing to pay for this keyword is $8.12 based on this historic data in my account, that I have a conversion rate of 5%, my average conversion value is $325, and I have a desired ROAS of 200%. For example, let's say we increased the speed of our website. Okay, we worked on conversion rate optimization. We added better product images. We created a free shipping promotion, and we got this 5% to 8%. Okay, this calculation would then change. This 5 over here would be swapped out with an 8, and we would be able to bid more. We would be able to bid more than $8.12 to maintain our 200% ROI with our average conversion value. Okay, that's how it works. That's how the process works. If, for example, our average conversion value was higher than $325, let's say our average conversion value was $500, we started selling more better products, or we added new products, we'd also change the calculation. This would become $500 over here, and we'd also be able to pay more. Okay, so this is all very dynamic stuff. This is a bidding strategy if you know your conversion value and your conversion rates. So you take your average conversion value, remember this, divided by your return on ad spend, multiply by your conversion rate, and that's your max CPC bid for that keyword, okay? Now, for example, if all this information is not available to you, right, you might be able to, or you actually can calculate your max CPC bid in a different way. So let me show you. Let's just do a little bit of erasing here. And we're going to stay with the same keyword, okay? So pretend we're analyzing the exact same keyword, and our question is, I'm looking at this keyword, I see all the data, but I want to know what should I really be paying per click? What should my max CPC bid be? Now, in this example, all you need to know is your desired ROAS and your revenue per click, and that's why revenue per click is such a great number, okay? So based on, we really only need to know from your historic data is your revenue per click, and that's why I started off by going through this formula of revenue per click, because it could simplify some of your max CPC bid formulas later on, based on revenue per click. Okay, so let's say I know my revenue per click, and once we see this formula, you're going to get a very clear sense of why I'm such a fan of knowing your revenue per click. So let's go back. So we have our same keyword, buy office chairs online, okay? So let's say we look at our keyword for the last 90 days, and we see that our revenue per click is, let's say, it's $1.85, okay? Our revenue per click is $1.85. Now remember, to calculate revenue per click, you have this formula right here, okay? This is your revenue per click formula. So our revenue per click is $1.85, and let's say our desired ROAS in this case is different. Let's make it $2.50, okay? Our desired ROAS is $2.50. Now you'll see how much simpler this calculation is than the last calculation we did. Okay? All I need to do is revenue per click divided by my desired ROAS. So this formula is revenue per click divided by my desired ROAS, and that equals my max CPC. Okay, that's the most I could pay for this click. Now let's just plug in our numbers. It's super, super simple. Like you saw in the previous example, we had to kind of slosh through your conversion rate and your average conversion value. Once you can calculate your revenue per click, you don't need that. You just take your revenue per click divided by your desired ROAS. And once again, this was arbitrary. I said I want to make 250% back. For maybe I have a 40% profit margin. Remember we saw the last example, in a 40% profit margin, 1 divided by 0.4 equals 250, and I need to break even or more, so my desired or my needed ROAS is 250. So very simple, let's just plug in the numbers. 185 divided by 250. You guys following along, do you know what this is? It's 0.74, okay? So 0.74, so 74, this means that my max CPC bid is 74 cents a click. In this scenario that we just drew up, that our revenue per click is $1.85, our desired ROAS is 250%, using this historic data, my max CPC bid is 74 cents. Now, I want to just reiterate, this should be your max CPC bid moving forward based on this data, but you could change the numbers around by working on your account. You could add negative keywords, and you'll be getting less. If you add negative keywords and create better negative keyword lists, you'll have fewer keywords. You'll have fewer queries triggering ads that are irrelevant to your products and services, and you'll be paying less per conversion, and your revenue per click will go up. You see how that works? Negative keywords creates a better targeted account, creates fewer wasted ad spend clicks, creates more revenue per click, and then will allow you to bid more per click. Okay, so this is very dynamic. If you change your website, you increase the speed. Remember we spoke about quality score, how the landing page speed is so important, it's such a huge factor. You increase the navigability, you increase a promotional offer that people could see more, and then more people buy, you have your conversion rate goes up, then your revenue per click also goes up, and then you could also spend more. Your max CPC bid will also be able to go up in tandem with how you improve your account. And that goes for every area of the account. If you increase the effectiveness of your campaigns, if you restructure your accounts to be more targeted and increase your quality score, if you're using bid modifiers based on geographic locations that are more likely to buy from you or to become your clients, to become your customers, if you're tracking multiple conversions and you have a more thoughtful conversion funnel, like you start off with a free ebook or a free download, and then you get those people to buy later on, and then you see that for every click that downloads a free ebook, they eventually become a client within 3 months, so you could add that to your value. So there's all these different ways, and once again, negative keyword lists and conversion rate optimization on your website. So there's really A/B split testing ad copy. There's no shortage of ways that you could increase your revenue per click. You could increase your conversion rate, okay? This calculation is done taking the historic data in your account so you could know what my max CPC bid should be for now. And then in 7 days from now, or in a day from now, or in a month from now, I'm going to reevaluate based on how I've optimized my campaign and how I've optimized my account. None of this is really about optimization. This is about profit. This is about, am I making enough money? How much money am I making? And how much is the most I'm willing to pay per click to make sure I make the profit margins that I need to. But this is not, these calculations and knowing this information is not going to increase the performance of your account. You need to go and increase the performance of your account using all the tools and tricks that we've learned, using all the methodologies, using all the techniques, using all the theory, and that's going to allow you to bid more per click and maintain those same profit margins. But all of this is really to get a very clear sense of what's happening, understand your profit margins, so you could be a superstar advertiser with a very clear sense of exactly how much money you're making, how much money you need to make, and how much money you're willing to pay per click to maintain those profits. So just to quickly review, we talked about the importance of conversion value per click, revenue per click. That's going to allow you to make a much easier max CPC bid formula. If you are tracking values in your AdWords account, then you could just use the AdWords column, conversion value divided by click, add that column in your reports, and you won't need to do anything else. If you're not tracking dynamic conversion values or any conversion value, then you'll just have to calculate that by hand. So you'll be able to see your revenue, your value, on your back end, and you'll be able to see the amount of clicks, and you could calculate your revenue per click. Okay, so it's very important to make sure that you are tracking conversions, values, so you don't have to make guesswork about what your revenue was per click. So it's very good to have that being tracked. Once again, you don't have to use revenue per click. You could use, like we just saw in the previous example, you could use your conversion rate, your desired ROAS, and your average conversion value to determine your max CPC bid. It's a little bit more of a complicated formula. In that case, you would take the average conversion value, divide it by your desired ROAS, and then multiply that by your conversion rate. So once again, in that example, you took your average conversion value, you divided it by your ROAS, and then you multiply that number by your conversion rate. In this example, you simply just take your revenue per click and you divide it by your desired ROAS, and that's your max CPC bid, as we saw in this case, 74 cents. I know this is tricky stuff, guys. This is not the simplest type of math. It's not the simplest concept to really wrap your mind around, but it's really, really important. It's really going to make you a really, really good advertiser. So review these videos, understand, like on the tip of your tongue, what ROI and what ROAS is. In your sleep, you should be able to tell me the difference between return on investment and return on ad spend, and you should be able to quickly tell me how to calculate your max CPC bid using your revenue per click and your desired ROAS, or using your average conversion value, your return on ad spend, your desired return on ad spend, and your conversion rate. Thanks so much, guys, for watching this one. I know it was a tricky one, but it's a really, really good one. You guys are learning a ton. This is super, super information. 99% of people running AdWords do not know this, do not have this information that you have, so you are in a very good position to really take down your competition and to take back all the business that's being lost to you and to capture all the new business that's looking for you in a very profitable way. We'll see you again soon, back at the computer. Thanks so much for watching again, and keep your heads up, keep trucking on, and cheers for now, my AdWords fans.